Welcome to Target Tuesday, everybody. Today we are talking about the waiver wire picks of the week, according to us Fantasy Few members over here. I'm Stone with Mason and Paul as usual, and we're just going to jump straight into things today again.
Let's go to number 6, Cedrick Wilson. You guys might be surprised to see this name on the list. Here's the thing. Amari Cooper was out last week due to COVID. Now we lost CeeDee Lamb halfway through the game because of a concussion. They have a short week. They're playing this Thursday and Thanksgiving. If Amari Cooper for some reason doesn't clear and CeeDee Lamb does not clear the concussion protocol, guys, we're looking at Cedrick Wilson being the main target of this offense and in what's going to be a high-flying game. Cowboys are going to bounce back. I think they're going to have a hell of a game. They're going to be playing the Raiders. The Raiders give up the pass. I think Cedrick Wilson could possibly be a start of the week. He could be a huge impact, and all you got to do is go put a claim in for him and see what happens. Just kind of leave it up to fate. But if Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb are both playing, then I would be cautious. I probably wouldn't play him. That's just me, though.
Yep, and let's just move on straight into number 5. We have another receiver there. It's Robby Anderson. The Carolina Panthers, ever since Cam Newton has been back, has completely been rejuvenated for the most part. I mean, they only scored 21, didn't score an insane amount of points, but that offense is definitely getting back into more of a rhythm than they were with Sam Darnold. And Robby Anderson, who got paid his huge contract this last offseason, is now starting to kind of put pieces together and start putting together better performances. He had 13 points 2 weeks ago, or last week, sorry, and then he had 8 points this week. He's had 21 points in the last 2 games with Cam at the helm. I think he's only going to be a little more involved in the offense. He's not going to be getting his 3 2-point games anymore. He might become a solid flex option for you in this home stretch to the Super Bowl run that you guys may be making. So definitely put a waiver claim in for him if you are struggling at the receiver position, like myself and Mason, who have 4 injuries at the receiver position.
That's rough.
We'll move into number 4, Matt Breida. We were all kind of collectively talking about him a little bit. It's kind of odd to, I guess, suggest a running back that's third on the depth chart in any committee. But we've seen that Evan Singletary, he's not necessarily the lead guy. We've seen it from the beginning of the year when we even questioned whether it was going to be Zach Moss or Singletary. And we know that their coaching staff, they said that they're just going to ride the hot hand. Well, Matt Breida has kind of come in, and he's becoming a quiet hot hand for them. In Week 10, he had 3 carries for 28 yards and a touchdown, 3 receptions for 22 more yards and a touchdown with 1 fumble. Obviously, the fumble, that's not something you want to see. But again, he picked it up this past week with 5 carries for 51 yards, 1 reception for another 16. So he's being involved in this offense. And all throughout Matt Breida's career, we've seen him work in running back committees, whether it was with San Francisco, where he had to go through Jerick McKinnon, Jeff Wilson Jr.,
Tevin Coleman.
Raheem Mostert. I was trying to think of who the other guy was. Yeah, Tevin Coleman. I even forgot about him. Yeah. But then also going into Miami, he had to play in another one. He had to play with who was the ex-Rams running back, Mason?
Malcolm Brown.
Yep, Malcolm Brown. Thank you. He had to play with him. Myles Gaskins, Jordan Howard was down there for a little bit.
Yep.
And, I mean, he's everywhere he's played, he's been in this same exact role, and he's shown that he's a very talented running back. So if he's out there and you're looking for somebody, if you're in dire need of running back help, I would definitely give Matt Breida a chance. And I'll be honest, I'm putting in waiver claims for him this week as well.
I also am. He's definitely proven these last couple weeks why he deserves to be playing. And I mean,
he's an explosive guy.
And Zach Moss this last week put up a monster 0.5 fantasy points. So, like, I mean, I could expect to maybe see Zach Moss phased out of this offense, as crazy as that sounds. I think Singletary should be the one that's phased out, but Zach Moss these last couple weeks has just been pitiful. But
yeah,
I'm going to move on to number 3, another receiver. This is probably, in my opinion, the best receiver that's been on a lot of waivers that I've been seeing. It's Rondale Moore. Last week, before a lot of my leagues, or before Sunday, sorry, a lot of my leagues, my receivers were just decimated. So I was like, okay, let me look through the waivers, or let me look through the free agency, see who I can pick up and start this week. I saw Rondale Moore's name in all of these leagues, and I'm like, I have to pick this guy up because I have a feeling that he's just going to go 10 plus points this week. I mean, with the absence of DeAndre Hopkins, it makes it a little easier. He's going to obviously get a higher target share. And, I mean, you still have Christian Kirk there, obviously, and say after this bye week, yeah, Hopkins will be back. We don't know what Rondale's going to do with Hop back in the picture. But I say trust me here. I think Rondale Moore for the rest of the year is going to be a solid option in fantasy football. I think he's going to start stealing some touches from Christian Kirk, honestly. Kirk's a guy that might be dropped also that can also be picked up and claimed because of the bye week, but I don't know, it's tough with those two receivers, and then Zach Ertz coming into his own also. So Arizona's a tough one to handle. They're going to spread that ball around. I mean, me and Mason saw it with Hopkins, guys getting like 5 targets a game. So, I mean, every receiver is viable every single week, and I think Rondale Moore is definitely worth the claim this week.
Let's go ahead and move on to my guy right now, Cam Newton. I think you guys should roster him. If you guys are streaming quarterbacks all year long, look to roster Cam Newton in hopes to solidify your quarterback spot for the rest of the year. Or pick him up, use him as a backup. I think he will be reliable week in and week out. He might still have some bad games, but for the most part, he's just coming off a 25-point-plus performance, only being on a team for 2 weeks. The guy's back, so go ahead, pick him up. We've been ranting and raving about him.
All right, so I guess we just move on to number 1. So in all of our eyes, I don't know if we necessarily see him as the number 1, but I think based off of potential, just the amount of leagues he's available in, how bad the running back positions have been absolutely destroyed this year, you got Alex Collins sitting there rostered in only 50% of leagues, and he's a starting running back in the NFL. And, you know, Mason brought it to our attention that he obviously the last few weeks has just not produced at all. And yes, that's scary. At the end of the day, the Seattle offense has just been in shambles the last few weeks. I think once Russell Wilson gets things figured out a little more, that they're going to be fine. And I think Alex Collins is going to be a huge beneficiary of that. And, I mean, regardless of if he's not doing anything or not, he's a starting running back. And if you are in desperate need of running back help, i.e. me and Mason, we should probably be trying to go for guys like this. Like, because, I mean, last week we had to start Jeff Wilson just as like a flyer player. And now it's just Alex Collins is one of those guys that's going to start the whole year. And if you're in trouble, you can plug him in, and he might not do the greatest, but you know he's guaranteeing you fantasy points.
Especially with the news of Chris Carson.
Yes.
Chris Carson's done for the year.
Yep. So with Chris Carson being out of the picture, Alex Collins is definitely that guy. So definitely put a claim in for him.
I want to jump in here real quick. And I feel like you said it kind of perfect, Stone. It's not necessarily based on his production, but his situation. Yeah. He's going to be the starter going forward. DJ Dallas might steal a few carries here and there. I forget who their other guys. Rashad Penny, who just seems to never be healthy.
He's out of the league.
This isn't a situation where go pick him up just because he's a starting running back, which is the type of situation with Mike Davis. He's a starting running back, but he's not the running back for that team. Completely different type of situation. So I think that's kind of where we're coming at with don't just pick him up because he's a starter, but we're putting him at the top of our list because of the situation and the potential upside that he has. And they just got Russell back. He's played 2 weeks coming off that, getting a pin pulled out of his hand, finger, thumb, whatever it was. And I mean, we're seeing that he's not playing like Russell Wilson right now. That's not going to always be the case. It's not going to take that long. Russell Wilson is a potential Hall of Fame quarterback for a reason. He's one of the best in the league for a reason. There was a reason he didn't miss any games due to injury up until this year throughout his entire career. He's very solid. He's going to get back to normal. This offense is going to get back to normal. And I think it might be a little bit more of the similar Seattle that we've seen the past couple years. The defense isn't great. They're good. They can help win games. But that offense is really what takes the cake. And like Stone said, I feel like the situation at hand is just going to allow Alex Collins as soon as everything starts going. And I know it's hard to say that at week 12 when there's only 5 weeks left of the season. We're encroaching on playoff time. This might be one of those situations where he peaks right at the right time, and it's going to be those playoff runs. You need that guy. You need a starter, and Alex Collins might be your guy. I'm not saying he's going to be a playoff run league winner or anything, I'm just saying he could be a very solid running back choice that you can put in either in a flex position or your RB2 if the situation arises because of what he has to deal with. He doesn't have a whole bunch of people vulturing touches from him. He doesn't have to be an outstanding 20-point guy a week. Like, he can go in, do his thing, run the ball, play his role in that offense, and he will eventually produce points.
I'll say, think of it this way. If you're in a fantasy position where you have good running backs and stuff, take a chance on Breida. He might be a guy that you can plug in your flex every week. But if you're a person that's really hurting at the running back position, don't take a chance on Breida. Go for Collins. Go for the guy who's the safer play of the two.
Yeah.
So
If I could I say one thing?
Yeah,
this isn't your average list, guys. This isn't the list that's on your ESPN top 5 waiver claims. They're going to go with the guys that scored the most points the previous week. We're looking ahead. We're evaluating the situations of these guys' teams. This list is a little out of the ordinary, guys, but we think this is their correct strategy to go moving forward. So use these tips, please.
Yes, exactly. And if you guys are listening to this on Spotify, thank you for listening, guys. And we're going to try to post this another video here on Friday talking about our start sits and our flexes for the upcoming Sunday. So thank you for listening to that, guys. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, leave a like on the video, comment down below who you think should be targeted this Tuesday on the waivers, and subscribe to the channel. Paul's pointing at the button, but that one doesn't work. You have to click the one right above the description. So
every time.
Yep, every single time.
Out every time.
And then Mason breaks us out every time, so why not just give it over to him and let him do that for us?
Fantasy Few out, baby. Let's go.